Okay, so like everybody get ready because we're going way back in time for this deep dive.
Way back.
Like all the way to ancient Israel.
Oh,
And we're
yeah.
going to be looking at some serious fashion,
Ooh, fashion
but
show.
with a twist.
Oh, yeah, twist.
Yeah, we're diving into the book of Exodus, chapter 28.
Okay.
And we're going to be looking at what God told Moses to tell Aaron to wear. This is like the ultimate divine power suit we're talking about here.
I love that the ultimate power suit.
So it's not just like your average runway look, right?
Not at all. Not at all. What's so cool about this is that the clothes weren't just about looking good. It went so much deeper than that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It was about symbolism power and representing this really unique role that the priest had.
You mean as a mediator between God and the people?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about it. Back then, there was no internet, no smartphones, no way to just like text God for advice.
Yeah.
The high priest Aaron, he was the link to the divine.
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility.
Huge responsibility. He offered sacrifices, he led the prayers, and basically channeled God's guidance for the entire community.
Oh, wow. I mean, talk about pressure.
Definitely pressure.
But okay, so let's talk fashion.
Yeah.
What did this like divine power suit actually look like?
Okay, get ready for some serious bling because this is an elaborate ensemble.
Okay. Well,
So you've got a robe, you've got a turban, a sash, but the real showstopper was the ephod.
the ephod.
Yeah, it was kind of like a richly decorated apron, but then on top of that, you had the breastplate attached to it.
Okay.
And can you imagine 12 gemstones, each representing one of the 12 tribes of Israel just sparkling on his chest?
Wow.
I mean, literally and figuratively. Can you imagine the weight of that?
Yeah, that's pretty intense. It's like he
Yeah.
was literally carrying the weight of the entire nation with him everywhere he went.
Exactly.
So beyond the sparkle factor, was there a deeper meaning behind all of this?
Totally. Those 12 gemstones weren't just there to look pretty. They symbolized that the priest was carrying the hopes and the needs of each tribe on his shoulders.
Like he was representing them.
Yes, literally standing there before God as a living, breathing representative of all his people.
That is such a powerful image. And it makes me think, even today, our actions and the choices that we make, they kind of reflect and carry the things that we care about too.
I love that. It's like this reminder that even way back then, people understood the importance of representing something bigger than themselves.
That is so true. Okay, so I am hooked, but we don't exactly wear ephods and breastplates to work nowadays.
True.
So how do these ancient fashion rules apply to our 21st century lives?
That's where things get really interesting.
Oh, okay, I like where this is going.
The text actually gives us some awesome clues.
Okay.
For example, the level of detail, the craftsmanship that went into these garments, it really speaks volumes. We're talking specific colors, fabrics, techniques. God spared no expense on the details.
Wow, so are you saying my to-do list needs a divine makeover?
Maybe not a literal makeover, but think about it. That level of intentionality, that commitment to excellence, even in the smallest details, it's a powerful message.
So you're saying like if you're going to do something, do it right.
Right.
Give it your all.
Exactly.
Hmm.
That dedication to quality and craftsmanship, that's a thread that runs through all of human history. And it's something that we can all learn from, whether we're building a business or writing a novel or even just making dinner for our families.
Wow. I'm starting to see how these seemingly ancient ideas can actually be surprisingly relevant to our lives today.
And that's just the beginning.
Oh, good.
We've only just scratched the surface.
Okay.
Let's dig a little deeper into how this whole idea of representation plays out, both in the ancient world and the modern world.
Okay, I'm all ears. This is getting good.
Remember that breastplate we were talking about with all those gemstones?
Yeah, 12 of them, right?
Exactly. Each one representing a different tribe.
Yeah, it was like a walking billboard for the 12 tribes of Israel.
It really was. And it wasn't just about the high priests carrying their burdens, but about making them visible, you know? Oh, I see. Like standing there before God with all those sparkling gemstones, literally shining a light on the needs and hopes of each individual tribe.
Wow, that's a good point. It's like a reminder that representation really matters.
It does, even, or maybe especially when we're talking about things we can't see,
Like what?
like hopes, fears, beliefs.
Right, those internal things.
Exactly.
Okay, so how does that translate to us today? Because, I mean, I don't have a bejeweled breastplate just lying around.
Think about it this way. Even without gemstones, we're always sending signals about who we are and what we stand for.
Okay.
It could be our actions, our words, the causes that we support, how we treat others. It's all a form of representation.
So our modern garments are kind of like the values we live by.
Exactly. And just like those ancient garments were crafted with so much care and intention,
Right.
we have to really think about what we're wearing in the world, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
What message are we sending? Whose voices are we amplifying?
Wow, that is powerful.
It
It's not just about what we believe, but about how we make those beliefs visible to other people.
Exactly. And that brings us to another really fascinating theme from Exodus 28.
Okay, what's that?
Holiness and distinction.
Hmm. Okay, holiness can sometimes sound a little intimidating.
Yeah.
So what does it actually mean in this context?
It's not about being perfect. It's about striving for excellence, integrity, and living a life that reflects a higher purpose.
So the high priest outfit was kind of like a uniform
It was.
that reminded him and everyone else that he was held to a higher standard.
Exactly. And here's the thing.
What?
Even though we might not be wearing special robes,
Right.
we can all choose to hold ourselves to a higher standard to make choices that are in line with our values.
It's like our actions should be our garments,
I like that.
and they should represent like the best versions of ourselves.
I love that. And there's actually one more piece to this puzzle that I find really fascinating.
Okay, what's that?
The emphasis on beauty and craftsmanship.
Wait, are you saying that God cares about how things look?
Think about it. Those priestly garments weren't just functional, they were like masterpieces.
Oh.
Design and craftsmanship. Specific colors, fabrics, gemstones, every detail was meticulously executed.
So it was like art meeting spirituality.
Exactly. Beauty isn't just about outward appearances.
Right.
It can be a way of honoring something.
Making it special.
Yes, making it meaningful.
So that applies to everything we do, not just religious rituals.
Of course. Whether we're building a house or writing a poem or cooking a meal, there's an invitation to approach it with artistry,
Right.
a desire to create something beautiful and well-made.
I love that. It's like saying that even the most mundane, everyday tasks can become these little acts of creation
Exactly.
if we approach them with the right intention.
Yes. And that brings us back to this idea of setting boundaries and creating dedicated spaces for specific purposes.
Like how the priest's garments helped him to separate his sacred duties from everyday life.
Precisely. It's a powerful reminder that we can all benefit from creating those boundaries, those rituals, even those metaphorical garments that help us to shift our mindset and focus on the task at hand.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we create those boundaries and stay true to our purpose even when we're not wearing fancy robes?
It's kind of like having this mental wardrobe for different parts of your life.
Oh, I like that. So like different outfits for different occasions.
Exactly. And just like those priests, we can use those garments to signal to ourselves and the world, okay, this is what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so give me some examples. What are some like modern day garments that we could put on?
It really could be so simple.
All right.
Like, what if you have a specific workspace in your home
Okay.
that's free from distractions where you only go to work?
So your brain knows it's time to focus.
Yes, exactly. Or maybe it's like a little ritual that you do before you start a creative project.
Oh, like lighting a candle or putting on like your favorite playlist?
Exactly. Creating those little sensory cues that help you to get in the zone.
It's amazing how much that can really affect your mindset.
Totally. Even something as simple as changing your clothes can make a huge difference.
That is so true. Think about how differently you feel when you're like dressed up for work versus, chilling at home in your pajamas.
Exactly. It's all about those external cues that trigger a shift on the inside.
Right. So it's not just about what you're wearing on the outside, but about how you're showing up on the inside.
Exactly. And to tie it all back to Exodus 28, those priestly garments weren't just about outward appearances.
They were about an inward commitment.
Exactly, to a specific role, a specific purpose.
So after this deep dive into Exodus 28, what's the one thing you hope people listening take away from it?
I really hope that people remember that even the most ordinary moments can be elevated with symbolism, ritual, and intentionality.
I like that.
We all have these garments that we put on, even if they're invisible to the naked eye.
Yeah.
So the question is, what are those garments for you?
What do they represent?
And how can we use them to create a life that's beautiful and meaningful?
That's such a great thought. So next time you're facing a challenge, starting something new, or even just, shifting gears in your life, just ask yourself, what garment can I put on?
I love that.
Get in the right headspace.
Because you have the power to create those garments, those symbols, those rituals. You have the power to shape your life and make it amazing.
What a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Exodus 28. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep creating those garments that help you shine